Face recognition of time center and position location of calculation, sending line positions. All levels of cell modification line connection. Trying to understand how you see yourself and always informed as an inner child. Inner child center and interference location comes in all center. It's about understanding adaptation to all levels of calculations. Face recognition, screen centers and rotation. All levels of division. Set the line. There's a good instability and interference. I'm going to apply the lines of location calculations. The computer is trying to recognize what's going on until I relieve my position location of calculation. So, center lines and communication line string. It's trying to stand timelines. It didn't recognize my positions to all levels of graph location of my chair. It didn't recognize my computer interference. It didn't recognize my digital pad. So in that position locations, you have to learn how to center its line connections all levels of space and time. The interline communication to its interference shows calculation to its high string. Now that in position location directions, it shows your true resonance of your inner child connection. I just wanted to show you how powerful it is when you put these things on. You become the actual position of its directions of space. So it's important you understand that, right? Now, coming in line center locations, coming into Halloween. Now, the Halloween line position is all levels how you see yourself as an inner child. It's a representation of you, how you come into your heart system. It's a representation of how you come into your drawings of your system locations. And that's what children are. So it's about voluming in your line centers, all the vector communication stream system. It's position of directions and how you follow yourself as a child. Inner child of its relation of you is all heart central. It comes in position, location of directions. Okay, so it's important you understand that, especially when you wear a t-shirt like this. You know, it truly understands its representation of you. You become what you become, which is you in the now. That centers its position locations. So the important thing is to see yourself as a inner child. Okay, the interglac location, the inner line center line rotations, the new position location of its energy of its reminder communication system. Interline connections, all levels of volumes, right? So it comes into connections of the intelligent line center, okay? The neutralized rotation interference, okay? The new line center location, energy. So when you start remembering these things, it centers its position location of communication to understand how to use the transmitting and receiving to all information location, right? So in school today, we are going to travel through the line centers. We're going to go through the projector location, eye receptor line, and rotations. You're all going to travel through the shirt, through the atom line system, okay? So it's already set in sequence. It's already set in code. So it's all through activation stream. Now, an activation stream is how you see your perception center communication, right? So now it's getting confirmation from my computer. It sees my voice. It recognizes my face, the real face of who I am inside location, right? So it's all about understanding who you are as Cloak and Dagger. And that is you in all level system. Nobody sees you through perception. They only see the perception of themselves. And that's what protects you into your light locations. Okay, you have to truly understand and do that. And the only way you can get into that formation is really get into your emotional system. You have to learn how to balance out your frequencies, your vibrations, your tone line channels, your communication interference, your computer adaptation surface, your high triangle locations, your alphabetical line connections. You are protecting yourself from everything of form. That position location of its directions, it opens all line position location, right? So we're going to center line connections. I'm going to set the code frequency location, right? Sectors, vectors, quads, high center, and dimensional location. High center location at turning 1. Okay, position directions 1, 1, 1, 1, portal communication line stream. Okay, so we come in and analyze center rotation interference. Setting course line. It's very important to stand line system. Position location directions. All right. Coming at connections, opens all track location. Center line connections, interference position location directions, center line communication. Center rotation centers, energy lighting and rotation calculations, center position locations, and center line connections, all levels of all position of travel. Okay. Now, when you travel through this line condition, you understand what you're going to see at all levels. The projection in a line stream is going to set all correlation, position of directions, all levels of center line conditions, in all condition. All right. So the screen line center is setting line rotation to the t-shirt. The t-shirt is getting information location of communication, right? Center line communication, line strip. See the line strip right here? Crosses over stream, brings in position locations, all right? So it's all about understanding how to recognize the line condition, position location of graph, right? So the center line communication is code signal. Now it's in a vector cross, okay? So the V-line center in direction comes into high channel. Change the coloration line interference, puts position location directions, center communication system, right? Vector equals cross line, okay? The cross line center is rotation to projection. It opens all communication system, right? So you're going to go through travel location, okay? Touching dial and communication center. You see the white? See how powerful that is? You see it, right? You see it glowing. You see it glowing, right? It's glowing, right? It's ready to travel. As soon as I press the button, it's going to activate the stream interference, electrical light. It's going to go here, and it's going to right to here. Signal line center. All right, you guys are traveling. All right, traveling through white graph location. Illumination line center interference. All position locations. Blinds are shut. Light's coming from somewhere. Where's the light coming from? Inside me. Right? All through vector line centers, velocity interference, and position location of volume, a flux capacitor. Right? 40 minutes. Have fun. Direction line, center line, position location is cell generation light stream. Center line, position calculations, your travel location. See? It's nothing but a white screen graph location, right? You can see the blue. See? I put my hand there. See that? Lights up. See the solar line? Opens all communication line rotation. Sets graph line centers. Illumination graph location. So it's important you understand these things. Same with this here. See? Illumination, right? Everything. Look at the shadow line. See my hand, how it travels? It's amazing when my hand travels, right? So my hand is here, okay? I sent you guys a very powerful video about Einstein, right? All about what is time? Well, all the communication is time line. So it's all direction location calculations. Setting position locations. So setting projector, location 8 line rotation interference. Oh, look at that. You can't see it. I just drew it. Disappeared. And then it reappears. Okay? See how that works? So setting line position directions. See? Disappears. Boom. Gone. Disappeared. Reappear. Stable line center. Bring back calculation. It'll come back in formation line center. It's because it's traveling very fast. Gone. Right? Rotation interference. Direct locations. Right? So it's amazing, right? Appear, disappear. Appear, disappear. Space, time. Space, time. Presence. See that? You see how that works? How it disappears? So if you understand the calculation position of acceleration line, you can understand the rotation of its projection locations. 2 dot line center projection. See? So well, that's going in and out now. See? That's going in and out. So directions. You got cell line channels. 3 line center rotations, 4, 5, 6. And interference. Position, location, direction. So, because I'm traveling extremely fast to the line center location of its atom through molecular light structure location, it goes in and out, in and out, in and out. Because I'm holding all energy line centers, so levels are travel location to perception. Perception, location, to projection. Setting line positions. So, once you get in that modification stream, your center line communication line system opens all track locations, right? It's amazing when you see yourself in inline center. Setting business locations of photon, electron. Now there's 3 waving circle locations, the center. First line is circle location. In position of center line communication, opens all track location to 3 line connections of graphs, 1 line strip in position direction. Okay. Now, neutralizing centers, sonar line center, sonar line center, sonar line center, interact location to ground line interference. Sets of position location directions, right? So when you're traveling, you have to understand line graphs. Now, line graph stream is all levels position locations. It's in all levels, merging to transmitting to transformation, coming in all the line connections. Now, the mutation valve is a communication center. That's a line strip graph until it disappears, position location, but it's still here. See? And then it's gone. And then it's here. And then it's gone. See what's happening? It's changing position from here to here, right? So it's recognizing timelines. Now, timeline switch is interference locations going in and out line center. See? In and out. See? Change locations at all levels. Light signals, light center, line rotation, interference. Position of direction location, line cross streams. Okay? Sets line graph locations direction. Okay? So your center line connection is how you use the photon. Photon is like a photo. Okay? And electron is electrical light connection. We already know that location, where it comes into the relay. That relay is its program setting. It sets up a computer operates a T reception line. Okay? So when you come into the neutron sets line connections all levels of time. Time sets line interference, position, location, directions. It opens all communication centers, all in position to its triangulation. So to stay in that line center interference, you have to recognize all position calculations, right? Resetting line connections, all right? So that opens all track system. Now, the photon is introduced to the electron, to the neutron, okay? And they connect to a line center location of a gammathon. Now, a gammathon is a position location or radio signal. That radio signal is location's time line. That time line syncs its pattern location to its line communication interference, so it's particle line chain. You come in a particle line chain, sets line center rotations into all level communication. All right? So it's like a loop of a chain, center line communication system. Times lines, times streamline center. So it's all about understanding how to communicate all level system locations. See that? See how that works? Red cells, white cells. Red cells are the carrier line centers, and the white cells are the receivers. Sending line position location calculation sets all line communication centers. Now, once you use the photon, electron, and the neutron, it neutralizes its communication system. You come in and proactive line connections. Now, using the I receptor location sets a projection. That projection is your projector of projecting of what's going on through line center. So it's kind of like using a camera op division location. Each cell is a representation of viewer perception. So understanding the infusion interference sets reset line connection. So there's a lot of electrical interference because, like I said, the computer is trying to recognize the speed line, and it's on acceleration, and you guys are on a 40-minute window line rotation into a 40 gap line system, which is a correlation location of 144 miles per second. The position of direction location is your DNA. It sets line signals in rotation. Setting communication interference is setting all levels of U in rotation connections. Yes, I know it's freezing because it's traveling very, very fast. Okay? And that's what happens when things disappear, right? They disappear, but the illumination graph is still there inside. Look how glowy this is. See? It pauses. It reshapes. It reforms. It recalculates. It remodifies. It redivisions. It realigns. Communication interference line connections, right? Interchange line communication system. Timelines, center. Emphasis location times pi. Center communication line center. Vector cross location system. Position location and direction. Line connection interference. Reline, readjust line connection of photon, proton, electron. Neutral line communication center. Rotate line center interference. Position location and direction. So, understanding computer adaptation signals is to understand the atom line.
The atom line sets line signals and rotation interference, coarse line channel and direction locations, two line center circles, sphere line center rotation, and position location directions, centering its communication of its atom rotation center. And it disappears. See? So if you understand the direction location acceleration, acceleration equals proton. Acceleration. It disappears, right? Because it's traveling very fast. The recognition of timeline is all about position, location, and calculation. This is now line center location of the sun. This is the sun. Right? Graph line stream or program location is position, location, and calculation, which is its moon. It's an emotional system of you through cell generation and modification. You just have to learn how to use it from inside line connections. Right? So it's very powerful when things disappear. So appear and reappear is all levels of space line communication to its photon line system. So once you come to the atom line, equals location of perception or anything the program, sets line course location of triangle communication, position of time. See? See how it changes? See? Reflection. Line screen center, electron communication system. Electron equals box location, equals location of triangle line center interference, position, location, direction. See the tone line center and interference? The position of direction is voice recognition, and that's how the cells line its calculation system. Each perception has a formation location. This is where you come into lines of your position is line centers of post. So post is kind of a line center when it comes into a line communication of its panel, position, location, and direction of its road graph location. So once you understand the energy line centers, it gets more complicated, as it already is, right? So it's all about understanding line communication, right? So there's all particle line center, cell generation line centers, photon line connections of video graph line center, TV reception interference, neutron communication system, neutron, the tron line, okay? Tron, okay, equals line, okay? Very fast, right? These are the tron line communication centers. Now that rotates line center, one position location direction, all communication or road graph line center interference. Now the electron comes in line center. The electron sets the box location of T reception line to communications of cable gain interference, position, location, directions, right? Center line communication, road graph streams, all lines, skips channels and highest center rotation and position of directions, center communication of point system location calculations. All right, so you got the photon, you got electron, and the neutron. You send in line position locations. So they cross stream. So when they cross stream, they automatically come in one line center into center communications and all level system into one track line connection to one cell operation, position, and direction location of travel. And they disappear. So getting communication line center stream centers is interested in how to use all those U through cell lines, particles line center location, setting particle stream rotation. Okay, so this is called a protein valve. A protein valve has four line communication of point dot line centers. It's complicated stuff. Boxing, position, location, and calculation. All right, you're going to keep seeing it disappear because it's going too fast. Center line communication is center line up in position, location, triangulation. Center communication interference into photon communication system of a photo op communication to an antenna. Antenna line center flux capacitor, ground line center rotation calculations. Center communication system. Line communication interference opens all calculations. How you center your line centers is extremely powerful. So once you get into the atom string, ATO1 line center equals line stream, or stream of lining. Now the streamline center opens all communication system to its graph plane interference, electrical light communication system. You can't see it anymore because it's going faster, right? Until you see it. See it? Don't see it. So understanding line center, atom line center, atmosphere change, teleportation communication operation. It's the memory of its equal line communication of line equals location of stream, center communication of point system. Okay. 2-point line centers, 3-point, 4-point, 5-point, 6, and 7-line communication system. All right. So once you understand the recognition of line centers, it enters its line communication of solar graph communication system in position of directions. Okay. This is where it comes into galaxy center. Cell modification location is a photo upstream. Now, photo upstream is how you see through eye receptors. Eye receptor is scanning line conditions. Each cell as a representation of your perception, how you equalize the line center locations. All right. So the equal line center equals its location to its atom. The atom line center opens up its stream. The stream comes in communication system, sets up the alpha, delta, theta, beta, and omega center line rotation and interference location is calculations, all through track location into its ground system of swirls of communication. All right. So how are we doing so far? All right. All right, Twin Flame Dragon again. Let's see how everybody's doing. We'll go with the intended locations, Skyline Centers. Mike has it going. Jill, Don, Terry, Enemy Communication Line Centers. Let's go through our vendor. Michael, Johnny, Jeps, Pam, Lindsay, Val, Missy, Yvonne, Sammy, Heather, Danny, their vendor, David, Andrea. Okay, so we all understand what's going on. You know, understanding what can happen when things travel very, very fast, and all levels of digital frame location of digital line centers. All right, today's structure is Laura, Guardian. All right, Elaine, Tina, Esther. All right, so you guys are going through your locations. All right, so it's going to basically set your position location to how you see your videograph line screen. This is all levels of definition of location of phenomenon position. I'm just showing you how you set line communications, how you interline its connections to its atom, understanding the wave location to its delta, theta, beta, and omega. Now, once you understand that line interference, the position location of cells come into formation, okay, into its packet. It impacts its position location and directions, center line connection, all levels of its pyramid system. But you can't see it, right? It disappears. I have to go really close. So once that comes in impact, it center lines its stream into airline communication system, 3-line communication centers. Okay. Now, once that inline center location, the atom line center comes into an atmosphere location, center its communication 1 graph line center. There's the atom. The atom rotates, swirls out a line center interference, sets line communication to its photon. Photon comes in position location directions. Okay. Photon sets line communication. So it's kind of like a machine to machine to machine. So it's attaching. It's energy course line stream. Now the energy course line stream is set up through a computer operation line stream interference. That's position location of solar plexus. It's a solar generation light to your teleportation unit. It sets grounds on communication system. It's how you use an alpha channel to position locations to a delta interference, to position location to a theta communication line stream in rotation to all levels of communication. Right? So it's very complicated if you don't understand how to communicate with your cells. Cells are extremely powerful. That's all one many line center interference. But each cell has to modify its signals in all simulation. It graphs its line center 12 DNA. 12 line center location is 24. So that's 24 line center into 1 cell position location is system. 1 equals cell. Okay. Now that 1 cell is 1 line center to 1 universe location equals locations of photo op communication system. It unifies its location. All right. So understanding how to use the 1 cell line rotation interference, you have to understand each cell has to have the same clocking location, especially if you're going through higher levels. This is going way beyond mind line centers of space line. This is where you can go into 50 million years in space and actually be there in that position location of its dimensional setting line. If you open up a portal communication line center, this is you in position location directions, right? Okay, this is you. right? That's you. There's the port of communication. That port of communication is coming online center interference. So it position locations, and this is what happens. Okay, your cells get into modification circles. It rotates its location to all levels of its energy field line center. Okay, set signal locations. So you separate every cell in your body, transfers in communication to support a line center in rotation to its position location of time. Sets line communication system. Timelines, time streams. See how blurry it is until it disappears, right? See, but it's still there. Isn't that interesting? Why is it still there? Because it hasn't fully traveled yet. So in that communication line center, the full communication electrical light interference opens all position. You box its position, location, and directions. Center communication system, right? Gone, traveled, right? So once it disappears, it sends line communication to a portal. The portal comes into a jump scar. That jump car turns line centers. So each cell has a line stream. It's a modification signal. You guys have to recognize these things when you're going through timeline. Position location to relativity. So relativity is a panel line communication times pi. Position, location, directions. Okay? So one line center location is the physical line. And then you got the dimensional line rotation, right? So physical, dimensional line, rotation. Physical comes into the center line communication system, position of directions, right? Opens all communication into triangulation, right? So in that position location, this is time. Time existence of its non-aligned system. Position location, and it disappears. So I'm just showing you how fast you can travel the locations all through your cell lines. Once they're in a formation, once they're in the clocking line system, you can travel anywhere you want in your universal location, right? But if your motion line center, if your cell's coming in line center rotation, this is the particle line connections, this is your cell. Each cell represents line communications. So let's say you got a 24 computer line string, 24 equals computer, all right? That's one cell. Now, the 24 line center, if you want to go faster, computer opens up its specification to its ecosystem. Ecosystem comes into line communication. Line communication, line system. All right. Now that line communications, line center interference, 24 position locations times 1 is 24,000 of computer locations of division. You come into 24,000 computers in optical line center one cell line connection. So that box its position locations to its electron, opens all communication to its theta line center to its flux capacitor, opens all channel position location to its graph line in rotation interference, comes into its projector location into all levels of visionary cortex communication. Ooh, ah. And then it disappears. So if you understand more lines of communication inside you, then you understand each representation to each cell. Cell line interference, position location to its remembering to its cortex, to its visionary line. It's a line connection. Remember I said you start off small, so you got one line communication, another line communication, another line communication, another line communication, another line communication, right? So you start here and you go from here, but it disappears because it's going very fast. So that position location has its directions. Now you got a V line. V line stays in center line. You got a volume communication string, okay? You have a velocity channel, and you have a vector equal location of its equation. Sending communication to cell equal locations of 24,000 lines of communication in one position, location, direction. And then it disappears. So I'm just showing you how things are set and how fast things are traveling inside of you. If you understand the adaptation of its communication, you truly understand the amazing connection. Okay? Then you set line centers of no problem in communication. So once you understand that line center, you understand your cell location. Cells equal location of photon. Photon comes in line center rotation of the graph line interference. Position of point line connection all levels of electron communication system. Times line times stream in line center rotation circle location is Fibonacci sequence. Fibonacci sequence line connects into all levels. all levels of neutron line communication, travels location into line center locations of time, position location. And then it disappears. But look at that, it's still there. The line connection is still there. Isn't that interesting? Right? So basically, setting line communication, once you go higher level system, it changes its program. Each cell has a position of 24 computers setting lines. So if you're at a 24 ground line center, you're good to go. 12 atmosphere location, 12 position locations, and 12 line centers of light communication, right? So as long as you stay in the 24 line signal, I'm pausing in and out here. The 24 line communication comes into all levels of 24,000. So that's, if you go faster and you're in your ground line center, you have 24,000. And you go into a 48,000, 72,000, 144,000. You're balancing all communication into 114 chakras. Setting lines of all your sensory line communication comes into its impulse. Now that impulse opens up its communication stream. Setting line connects all levels of high center. Now this is extremely high and high interference to recognize every cell in your body of tracked location. GPS line center. You come into your geometrics, you come into levels of geometry, and your position, location, and your directions, divisions, and dimension, right? So it's all recognizing your cell lines and how it communicates in all levels in you through modification. Center line connection is extremely powerful because you're connected to everyone. It's electrical wire that's center in its line center. That's how fast it's going. And you can't even imagine how fast that is, right? Each cell has to be in position of direction to its location of its clocking system all at once, because the yin, the process of the communication, center its communication of its line, right? So if you're working with 24,000 computers and a 48,000 window and a 72 computer adaptation stream, you come into 144,000 of acceleration to its crystal activation system of its teleportation unit. Okay? So it's a lot to me understand that line conditions, all levels. All right. Addressing black and red indicators, resetting to release and rebalance. Every little cell in my body has a different voice. Very good. Exactly what it is. Every cell in your body has a different location, which means it has a different mindset. Cell equals mind. Mind equals different line. Okay, equals location of voice grid. Okay, that voice grid line center. Position has a high line center locations of division equals clocking to a system line connection. Okay, and then it disappears. So everything in light communication interference. Every time you go to school, I'm doing something that relates to your position locations, right? But it's in the same day and the one line rotation. See? And then it disappears very, very fast because it knows where I am. But then you see it. You see it? You see it? And then it's gone. Boom. Oh. See the light communication? But it's still there. See? It's playing posse with me, and then it's gone. See? So it's trying to understand how fast you're going in line. Now that position location has a voice grid location, setting communication centers, point location, point location, point location, point location, point location, point location, right? Line communication, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So you got 8 line channels, 8 equals locations of 1 cell line center operation in position location of 24 signal locations, right? Channel and operation system, right? So 8 line center, you have to come in a triangulation position. So this equalizes communication into one stream in 1 line center, all communication to its 8 line system, right? You see that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 position locations. 5 channel line center interference in a 24 clocking. So you box the position location each cell line, all right? This comes into a theta offline center. Now theta offline center comes into a moon trap. That moon trap comes into a teleportation line center interference. It's all about reminding your line center of its atmosphere location of perception of what you see in their location, right? So it gets more complicated, as it's not already. Point check the line center location of the box surface. Okay. So once you understand the line center, then you send the code frequency locations. There's so many levels of what the cell has a position of what it is, right? So understanding how to use the alpha line, understanding how to use the delta communication, the theta line communication, all levels of perception location, and everything through all of the system. Okay. So once you understand that, it comes into all position location omega communications, right? Atom line center, dimensional line interference, position location of travel line communication operation. Center its communication to its graph line system, opens all line center. Okay. So you come into beta communication, all right, into all levels. High center interference, position location directions, right? So sets up sonar line centers in rotation. This is all through projection location of your cells. Cells are all line center. It's all position locations to a projector. That's all it is. And it's an 8 central line communication. It's a rotation surface. Okay? That's all it is. So you got the ion line center location of the atom. Atom, the position locations, all levels of alpha. Alpha communication, equal line communication of delta. Delta to theta. Theta to vega. Vega, all line center location into a mega communication system and center line rotation. Okay? But it doesn't travel. Right? So you understand why things don't travel and why things travel. It's because your perception is calculated, it's modified through its thought line. It's recognizing you through recognition. It's timeline, it's string. It's setting locations to string theory. It's open all planetary line center. So in that calculation, each cell is you in emotional system. Its position location to its clocking, to its voicing grid. All right? It's all levels of its intelligent location. All you have to understand, it's setting a photon program setting to all line center and how you see through receptor location of its reality, of its division, of its scanning line condition. Okay? So it's understanding position. That's all it is, really. You know? Okay, let's see. Seeing how it's like in a collective body, each of the cells, but they're all collected to each cell. It's on computer, down to the line. I'm living projecting back to me. Yeah, wow. Beyond imagination. Minus is faster. It's lefty. What incredible design. Quadrant fields are very cool. See, so now you guys have a better understanding. So when you come back in position locations, you understand more levels of your cells, a modification. That's all it is. Getting better balance inside you through the yin yang of flow line connections, right? It doesn't matter how many computer settings you have, or protons, electrons, or neutrons, or photons, or inline connections. You just have to understand, you just have to balance the space line of communication to your emotional track. Your emotional track is your human resonance, and that sets the grounding or rotation. Ground location position to its human resonant line interference, direct location calculations, right? Center communication to all levels of your chakra system. 2 waving graph line streams in rotation. Now, all level system location comes into higher level system, rotation centers, and high interference. Okay? So these are stepping channels. So you come into the V line center, V equals location of volume, sets line condition of tone system. Now, when you come into a V cross, we've gone through that stream location of cell lines, sets line communication triangulation, one position and direction, right? So the teleportation unit comes down the line stream location, center its communication system, comes into the center operation of what you created through structure location, right? This is what it is. Comes into the ground line condition. Okay, it goes right through line, right? So this is how it reaches locations to your pyramid. Pyramid is in location, as they say, about maybe 3,000 lines, 5,000, 10,000 lines, ground line interference, sometimes 50 position locations, 50,000 lines of grounds. So the pyramid rotates its center line conditions all levels, ground lines in rotation in position directions, center its communication. All right, so it's very complicated. So getting your communication all connected to your particle line centers. So you're separating, and in that position locations, you're disappearing and reappearing, right? Appearing in position location, disappearing. All right. So fast line channel, force communication line center, interference location of stream system, line communication streams, 1, 2, 3, in position location 4, 4 communication stream centers, graph line center, streamline rotation interference, cross location, position of time. Okay, line graph line centers, all position locations, all timelines, all at once in position location and direction. Okay, now this is where you come into zero line communication system, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. You come into 1, 0, 0, line center location, telepathy interference. Telepathy equals interference, locations of box, position location, all of the zero line communication system. Right? So box, line, center, and rotation. This is all about understanding what the cells can do inside, all through graph, all through imagination, all through color, all through formation, all through intelligence, all through clocking. You understand? This is trying to understand how you set line, center, location into all positions. So let's say you got those 24,000 computers. Those 24,000 computers set up a graph line stream. That graph line stream sets a digital location to its number frequency line connection levels of its tesseract. The tesseract opens up all position location calculations, recenters its light center, which is extremely powerful. And this is where you come into adaptation of shape lines. The shape line sets up the neutron. Neutron comes to photon, photon, electron, sets line communication, all triangulation, and position location, all level system. There's a triangulation right there. All through zero line ones and communication triangulation. All communication and 24,000 line communication into one box frame of high system location. All through waving, telecommunication, and telegraphing of all level system into one cell operation, to one graph location. So it's extremely complicated, isn't it? Right? You go beyond the recognition of everything. And once you understand your emotional line centers, you understand more communication inside location of you, how to use the atom of you, okay, and everything in rotation. So it's all connected to your circulations and your grounds, powers in his atmosphere line. So, okay, so anything that needs to be in line center location is quantum interference. Quantum interference location is line channeling. Now, line channel location comes into all box center locations calculations. Let's say you got line and rotation interference. That's something that is not happy inside line communication system. You got the voice grid locations offline center of 6, but 6 is not position locations, it's in 5. So you have to equalize line settings, put positions back into 6. Times pi calculation is over line. So you come into positive or negative. If you want to bring the 5 line into location, positive or negative, not negative or positive, because that 6 becomes 5, and that 5 becomes 4, 4 becomes 3. So always stay in the positive line communication of the cell, and you keep uprising line connection, acceleration of your clocking system, and each tone will represent your line center perception, location calculation to its proton interference, position, location, and direction. Okay, so I know everybody's blown away. So just showing you in so many ways and how you calculate all levels of your cell lines, right? Delete all programs. Yeah, box is negative program. We rewrite code into positive line, and that's what it is about. But truly understand, you guys know the positive or negative. You need that line connections because that's what turns on your light. So positive over negative, okay, in line communication, right? So let's say you're in a 6-line communication and you want to go line equal line connections back, force line connection clocking. So that would be 6, okay? That would be line in communication, negative over positive position, okay? Negative over positive, right? So let's say you want to go into high line center rotation and position location high lines. So you take the 6 and high line system location and calculations, right? So that comes over. Positive comes over in position locations in position of directions. Positive, right? It crosses over into a half pipeline system. So in that direct locations, it comes into a tube line center location. This is how you use line communication of 6s, guys. But you have to understand the positive and negative location of you through your cell lines. Your cells can go backwards and your cells can go forward. Your cells can stay stagnatic. That comes in anxiety, depression, right? So let's go and say line center interference and modifications. One cell line center. This is what happens in mutation interference. One cell communication, perfect line center of a circle line connection, particle line center. All computer operation, right? 24,000 computers in one cell, protect location of particle line stream. That particle line stream has 3 indications. Position location of its photon line center. Now, rotation interference location comes into calculation. All levels of sonar line center rotation. Sets communication. So the eye scepter comes out. There's the eye scepter. There's your eye. Eye center line communication, right? Center line communications. So you get the alpha wave line center. You need to have alpha, delta, theta, beta, and omega to each cell communications locking center. Center communication, all levels of half pipe stream, center line center interference. Sets line communication to one cell. Now, if one cell is off sick in the location of virus line, it changes its direction location of its mutation of a shape line connection. See how that works? Cell modification, refractoring line communication. Your cell changes locations. So what happens, the particle system stream changes line communication and it falls flat in line connections of our S line system. See? That's how it works with these cells. So you're replacing old cells with new cells. Now the central line communication is Mars. Mars sets the line communication system. It takes all track line centers out of all line rotation, calculation, rotation, circulation, interference. So there's a lot of things you have to understand how everything sets line communication, right? But I'm just showing you how powerful it is if you stay in the positive of your photon, electron, and neutron line conditions, all levels that merges your position locations and how you use your projector, how you're projecting. Okay? That's a true understanding. So this is what happens with your cell lines. Okay? So there's a lot to understand, right? You can learn so much information location just in one cell channel. Now, that one cell channel could be line connections of, let's say, 60,000 zero lines. That's 60,000 zero lines that have to be in compact line position of directions. 60,000 line connections times 1 is 60 million position locations into one graph line center. Whoa, where's this all coming from, right? All through your 12 DNA. Very good, Ken. Connection line stream is all levels in how you calculate and modify how you set your signals. All right, it's all levels of you, right? Setting graphs of communication. Now, it gets really, really, really interesting when you understand how fast your cells are moving. Okay, so in your positive cycle, all cells go in the right direction, right? So it's like fish to a tank. If you sit there in the corner and the fish pick up your vibration, okay, and your energy light of communication to your cell lines, okay, all the fish will go towards you through a magnet. So that's a school of fish coming to all connected to you. So you have to understand how the cells work in a magnetic force line. It's a channel operation center that sets a theta line interference, sets program setting to all position locations to your CPU. The computer program in the line center opens up all units. The device line channel connects to the photon, electron, and neutron that puts position on line connections into shapes and anomalies. But you have the compact line center. Like I said, if you're setting 60,000 line centers of channels, the calculation of your voice grid location has to be in the position of its direction to all levels of positive location. Okay? So there's a lot to understand, right? In provision, how powerful you are in your cells, so modification. All right, I'm going to take you guys out. You got 15 line connections and 56, 7, 8, 9. All right, you guys are back. Center lines. It's amazing how you set line communication interference. So indirect locations, you guys were all in line on so many line positions. And that's all about understanding that you're offline through a cell or you're online through connections. The track interference is setting line communication, all right? Setting code channels of communication in one cell line and interference, all right? All through its atom. So we're magnets, we choose what we attract, chasing repels. But see, that's exactly what it is. That's why I don't chase anything. I only attract. So that right away tells what to the cells. It brings a magnetic force to its clocking system, to its neutron, photon, electron, and anything through calculations. So the more you understand that, the adaptation of the mind, the altered state locations, the altered states changes the line center of its consciousness. Then you come into the subtronic line center and the subterranean interference. That puts the high line center location, how you use all line connections to your avatar system. The stream interference comes into its own clocking system. Okay? So once you understand your data stream line center, your cell recognizes you through all levels. It's like a cubical line center interference that sets line centers of tone communication into your solar plexus. Okay? So you're creating data streams of arbitrary and location of programs that go very, very fast, right? So you have to recognize the position of what's going on with your cells, the calculation to the neutrons, electrons, and photons, and how it sets locations to your receptor of calculation to its projector location. All right, bringing things going forward and not back. If you're referencing back, that's great, but don't bring it in position direction because it changed the cell lines information. Okay, and you don't want to do that. Okay, because if you do that, you're retracting coloration. You're changing space and time with each cell. Each cell is centering. And if it goes back, it's centering line communication of clock location. So if you understand the force recognition of clock lines, then you understand the program setting is keeping your pause location to its clocking location, to its I receptor. Setting line connections of your protons sets line communication to its electrons, sets theta communication to its programs, and opens all communication to theta line interference. It's all levels how you perceive your locations in your emotional system. Staying positive at all angles puts you in correlation times calculation times pi. Okay? So you get a better behavioral location of track through travel once you understand what your cells are and how they represent everything inside of you through space and time. Space and time comes in one position, which is space-time. Merge into one. Yin and yang. Process of communication. Right? All right. I know. It's a lot to take in. It's wow. Just like where'd that come from? So it's all about you understanding you inside. Okay. This is just an ABC of information. There's so much that you can understand through inside location. How you use the operation is totally up to you. Right. So once you understand how to use your cell lines and everything location, then you understand how to use the operation of you from universe line connection. Your universe position of operation, because you already understand the how. It's not the why anymore, right? The why has been discovered and the how is coming into operation. So if I understand the how line centers and I understand my cell line communication, I understand my clockings on my computer and your rotation, then you understand the creation of source. And source comes in all formation location. All right. All right. You guys did extremely well. So you got a better understanding, right? More balanced understanding through communication of what your cells are through modification. All right. All right. So I'm going to head over back on TikTok. You have any questions or comments? Let me know. Everybody have a great day. Adios.